gang.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all to everybody who's been rocking with us tonight. We appreciate those folks that have been kicking it with us on Facebook Live, as well as those folks that are listening to us on TuneIn and all the other fabulous places where you can check out the show. It's time to kind of move on. This is our last segment before we close it out with our rants and close it out with our closings, and just a couple of, crazy bugged out things that we're going to talk about as we do every single week when we do the What the Hell segment.
What the hell?
And what the hell?
I
teased it on the other side, and we're not going to take a lot of time. I want to kind of get a couple of really, really quick hits on this one. But, one of the things that we talk a lot about here on Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J. Tony is religion. Talk about religion a lot here because I'm very clear that I want to make this a safe place for folks to talk about whatever they want to talk about, whether it be religion, sexuality, spirituality, clairvoyance, like whatever it is that is your thing. You come here, have a safe conversation. You may be met with some folks that don't agree with you, but as long as it's done in a fair and a respectful manner, all opinions are welcome. Well, apparently this parent didn't feel quite that way. She's in Tennessee, and she threw a fit because her daughter learned about Islam in school. She launched a crusade against the textbooks used in the local school district after she found out that her daughter was learning about Islam as part of the 7th grade social studies curriculum. Michelle Edmiston claims her daughter's, quote, personal religious beliefs were violated, end quote, with lessons about Islam, according to Kings Point Times News. Her daughter opted out of the classes and was given zeros for refusing to work. Those are zeros that we proudly took and we will not compromise. This is what mom is quoted as saying. Speaking at a school board meeting Monday night, Edmiston demanded that the district remove the textbooks. Quote, it is time as parents, teachers, administrators, we stand up and take back our families, our schools, and our country. That's what she told a local CBS affiliate. Quote, I would like to see parents, Christians, veterans, anyone stand up for this fight. How can I, as a Christian, say that I have these values and I want to instill these values in my daughter? But they say, okay, go ahead and do it. She was the only parent that had an issue. The school board explained the process for removing a textbook and said any replacement would have to meet current state standards. According to the State Board of Education website, these standards include educating students about Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, and Hinduism in the 6th grade, and Islam in the 7th grade, including, quote, Islam's historical connections to Judaism and Christianity. Tennessee is currently in the process of changing its standards. However, a draft of the proposed standards also include instruction in world religions. Tony, you're up first. We know that you are a parent of a high schooler. And what's your thoughts on this? Tennessee mom, she wild.
Teaching children about different religions is totally different from making them practice certain religions. Two different things. Our jobs as parents and the responsibility of teachers and school staff is to prepare our children to go out into the world. The world is full of people that have different beliefs, religious beliefs, all kinds of beliefs, political beliefs. So I just think that's very ignorant and closed-minded, and you're doing your child a disservice. If she's going to be just totally, all she knows is Christianity, when she gets out into the world and she has to interact with other people from other religions, other ethnic groups, she's not going to know what to do. And that is one of our main problems that we have today, is that people don't understand or even try to understand other religions, other ethnicities, and so that causes conflict or fear. So she's stupid, and I think that she should be made to participate or fail.
No, she did. She got them zeros.
Yeah, but I mean that's it's ignorant.
T, what you think?
I'm trying not to put my passion into it because
Put your passion into it.
I'm gonna get mad if I do. So I'm trying not to get there, but when you limit a child's learning, you're blocking off so many possibilities for this child, because your own religious beliefs, you're going to put that on your child who just started life, who's in high school, getting to know people, you don't know where this child is going to go. Why would you want to block that for your child? Just because you may be set in your beliefs, you may be set in your ways, don't take away the right for the child to learn other religions. She might actually grow up to want to practice this, but the school isn't teaching them to practice. It's teaching them so that they can learn and appreciate other cultures, other people, because the people that they go to school with may not practice this. And when they go out in the world and they go meet other people, just like Tony said, they're going to have to know how to respect another person so that they can, do what it is that they need to do in life. So
I can dig it. Shayna, you think?
I'm a true believer in being well-rounded as a person. I just want to know, like, this parent must live in the box, because this world that we live in, the United States, is literally a box of chocolates. You know, we're all different. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm just keeping it real.
Shout out to Shayna Gump over there.
Shut up. Yeah, get on my nerves. But y'all know what I'm saying? Like, you never know. It's like what both Tia and Tony said. Like, I totally agree. Like, you can't stop this. You're going to stop your child from learning. And then on top of that, you're teaching your child that since we don't believe in this, it's okay to fail. It's not okay. It's okay to fail this, baby, because we don't believe in that.
Right.
So you're teaching your child that that's going to instill in that child anything that child don't like. Oh well, anything. Oh, can't get a job. Oh well, didn't get into college, not going to college. Oh well, I'm not going to. It's okay to fail because I don't. It's all right.
Right.
Mom said it's cool to get zeros.
First Lady, what do you think?
Okay, and again, not myself being a parent, but again, being a loving aunt that I am to my niece and my nephews. But you all know that, again, it starts from home. So again, Shayna, Tia, if you're a parent, Marcus or Shayna, if you tell your child, go to school and don't listen to anything this teacher says, I want you to act up all day. Because you told your child to do that, they're going to do that. Just like with the parents, unfortunately, of the ones of the KKK. They teach their kids how to hate. So again, if that child is going to go to school and that's something unfamiliar, or they're bringing homework home, something that the parent doesn't appreciate, then the parent is going to say, no, you don't listen. Yes, we're going to take this. And of course, the child is a child. So they have no choice but to listen to their parent who is bringing them up. Who else are they going to listen to? My mother and father, they provide for me every day. So of course, if I bring something home that they're displeased with and they tell me, no, take the zero, then they are. I mean, I don't know, what did it say what grade the child was, or what was the age?
7th grade.
7th. I mean, so yeah, look, I mean, come on. So you all as parents know their ages, how impressionable they are. So again, if you tell them, Tony, to take this zero on your homework, they're going to listen to mommy. They're going to listen to Mama Tony.
Yeah.
Well, it's very reminiscent of sex ed, when they started rolling out sex ed in school, and parents went crazy because they thought, well, if they learn about sex, they're going to start having sex, as if that wasn't happening before.
Right.
And, even when they first rolled it out, it was sex ed. And then after, I guess it became law that it was okay to teach it, they changed it to family life.
Yep.
They changed the name of it.
Yeah.
Like, that, to me, that's worse. Like, you're teaching me about how to build a family in 6th grade. But I just think that, some people are very rigid when it comes to change or something different from what they believe and what they teach in their household. Like you said, I teach a certain thing, but I have taught my son is 17. He'll be 18 in 2 weeks. I've also taught him to be open-minded, and everybody is different. And it's okay to be different. We have to learn to embrace that.
You teach your child to be open-minded,
Yes.
but I teach my child to hate the color of your son's skin.
True.
So
it really does start in the home.
It does.
It does.
It does. And I think that a lot of this story, and the reason why I brought it up, is that it speaks to how racism, classism, religionism, make up a word that means don't like religions, whatever that word is something that has become more prevalent in our thought processes, certainly since 9/11, because I can't say that I had an opinion on Islam prior to 9/11 any more than I had a religion on Buddhism or Judaism. Now, like many of us, I was raised a Christian, and I was in the process of removing myself from that religion on 9/11. So I was primed to be open-minded about everybody. Having said that, we are trained in this country, regardless of the color of our skin, to have a natural bias towards Muslims. We just are. All of the propaganda is negative. When you hear otherwise rational people say we need to bomb the heck out of ISIS, and Obama created ISIS. Okay, Obama took office in 2008. ISIS started in 2004, and it rose out of the ashes of Al-Qaeda, which started in the 80s. Like, people don't know their history when it comes to this stuff. And then they go and they misinform their children to the point where this is the kind of stuff that actually happened. And let you in on a little secret, folks. ISIS represents less than 1% of Islam. Less than 1% of Islam. And there's billions of Muslims in the world. They are the largest religion in the world. They've even outgrown Christianity and Judaism. And so if Muslims wanted us dead, we'd all be dead already. Let's just be clear on that. And so I find it outrageous, especially when we talking about learning the children. Wow, did I say learning the children? Wow, okay. Teaching.
You got to learn them.
Wow,
you got to
okay.
learn them.
Got on a roll there. Teaching the children how to be naturally biased or bigoted or prejudiced towards others. I had to teach somebody that we're not supposed to say racist. We need to learn to apply that phrase appropriately unless you have some sort of political or life-altering, changing power over someone else. Then you cannot, in fact, be racist. You can be a bigot, you can be prejudiced, but you cannot be racist. So you can be all of those other things. Ain't no ass Steppin, Marcus J, live from the den, Legacy Internet Radio. T, you like ice cream?
I love ice cream.
Shani, you like ice cream?
You know it.
Tony, you like ice cream?
Totally.
First Lady, you like ice cream?
I like
I'm
to
scared
lick
where
it
it's going.
off, folks. Oh, yeah, my bad. Yes, my bad.
I'm
Now, I'ma
scared
tell
when
you-
it's about to go.
I'm gonna tell
Are
you.
you going to tell us something disgusting?
No, I'm not. The reason why I'm asking is because I have just decided if we like ice cream, who we need to be supporting with regards to ice cream, and that is, in fact, Ben and Jerry's.
Yes.
We need to be supporting Ben and Jerry's ice cream because apparently they are a socially conscious ice cream company. I never heard of that phrase before, but I'm getting this from Breitbart.com. Ben and Jerry's faces a national call of a boycott because they have expressed a public support of the Black Lives Matter protest movement. Quote, systematic and institutionalized racism are the defining civil rights and social justice issues of our time. This is what the Vermont-based company said in a statement posted on their website, benjerry.com. I'm sorry. Quote, we've come to understand that to be silent about the violence and threats to the lives and well-being of black people is to be complicit in that violence and those threats. End quote. They continue. All lives do matter, but all lives will not matter until Black Lives Matter. Wow.
Amen.
End quote. First Lady, jump in here. Ben and Jerry's is supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. What you think about that?
Okay, so I have a question, and this may be a far-fetched question,
Go
but
for
if
it.
we can get it, I guess, on Wiki or whatever, what is the net worth for Ben and Jerry? Because I feel like if they didn't have enough money, they would not have said what they said.
But they got money.
So, okay, there you go then. I don't know. I'm not saying that, I'm calling BS, but if it is what it is, they say what it is, then I'll be buying more Ben and Jerry's.
According to CelebrityNetWorth.com, they're worth about $150 million.
And that's billion with a B. B is
Million.
Oh,
But, I mean, it's celebrity
million?
network. I don't know how do they don't. How do they
Yeah,
know?
I mean, how accurate
It's
is
not
that?
Forbes.
But I mean, it may
They worth
be.
some money.
But no, to be on the real, I think that's awesome. I think if they are, for the cause, if they are for, the push, the upbringing and betterment of the people of color and any other race, I think it's phenomenal. I think it's really good. So yay to Ben and Jerry's. Like, I was a pet girl.
What do you
Only
think,
because it was sheep.
First Lady? What do you think about businesses?
Love butter pecan.
Butter pecan. So, what do you think of companies, not just Ben and Jerry's, but just in general, taking political stances? You okay with that?
I think that it's cool. I think because, again, even still on the business side, they can afford to. So if they lose some people, or they lose some folks, or they lose some sponsorships, they'll be okay. It won't be that much to put a dent in anyone's pocket. I say that, i.e., Ryan Lochte, what is his name? The swimmer dude. Everybody thought from his lie that when he was dropping endorsements like, water drops, that was the end of him. But on the flip side, he's actually getting more endorsements and more recognition than he was prior to his U.S. Olympic swim, whatever. So again, I feel like that again, if it is what it is, I think it's good. And if they can jump in and do what they can as far as it's pure from the heart, then I think it's good. I think that every business who can have a name, Pepsi, Coke, let all of them make a statement as well. I think it's awesome. I think it's good. Take a stand.
Tia, what do you think?
Well, I don't agree that Black Lives Matter is necessarily a political movement. It is what it is. People, I have so many things about that. I won't go into that. But I'm happy that Ben & Jerry's is supporting the movement, and I am happy that they can see past what other people don't see as it being a threat to Black lives in our communities, and how police forces have been targeting Black people for many, many years. And having a movement like this and having a big company like Ben & Jerry's supporting it, it's very uplifting to see. I agree with them going forward with that. It's just we need to educate people on what actually Black Lives Matter is, in my personal opinion. Because some people are confused. They think it means, well, what about me? That's what I get out of it.
Right.
A lot of people are, especially the ones that are like, all lives matter. Yes, all lives do matter. But you have to realize that some lives are valued less than others. And you got to see it as more than, what about me?
Right.
It's not about you today.
Right.
It's about everybody else.
And I have Steppin with Marcus J. live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. Our sister Tiffany is checking us out. She was checking us out on the Facebook Live, and she said she's about to rock with us on TuneIn, so we appreciate her. Dana said that Vermont-based, not so status quo. I did catch that as well. Shana, what's your thoughts on what we're talking about here?
I think it's awesome that Ben & Jerry's came out and not being a Black company, not being traditional. I had no idea that they even cared about Black Lives Matter like that. I think that's great. Black Lives Matter, to me, I'm going to break it down like this. When we go to the bone doctor, all bones matter. All bones matter. All lives matter. All bones matter. But that bone that's broken, that we need to put a cast on, that bone matters more right now because we got a cast on it. It's broke. So that's my view on Black Lives Matter.
Tony, jump in.
I mean, I could have nothing but respect for a company who will stay true to themselves, to who they are as people, and put that before a dollar to keep their integrity and really be honest with society. and not just, oh, we care, we'll donate money. Like, they're really standing up for what they believe in as people. And I think not enough people, and they don't, not even corporations or companies, just individual people don't stand up for what they believe in enough. Mm-hmm. So I admire them for that. I mean, I can only have respect for that.
I can dig it. Ain't no hashtag on Marcus J, live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. What I will say, and I'll be very brief, as far as Black Lives Matter, I've been very clear on my position on it. I've used all kinds of analogies, so I completely get where you were going there, Shayna. The only thing that I'll add, and that's why I asked the question, the First Lady just basically said, and I love what you said, I think that it's very important that you speak your conscience. I've had people come to me and suggest certain things that I do differently with regards to running Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J and Legacy Internet Radio, and I gotta do what I do. I can't change what I do just so that I could be a part of a movement. And for them, apparently, to always be conscious, they didn't shy away from being conscious because Black Lives Matter was something that apparently is controversial. They knew that this was something that was worth speaking out on, and they did that fearlessly. And so for that, I got to applaud them. I think they're real dope for doing that. Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J, live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio, 804-402-2893 is the number to dial. Last thing I want to get to. All right, y'all. I watched a documentary over the weekend called The 13th. And it's on Netflix. And from what I understand, it had a limited release in the theaters, simultaneous with its release on Netflix. And one of my new favorite directors, who I think is an absolutely fabulously dope-ass lady, Ava DuVernay, who is doing the show Queen Sugar on the OWN network. Like, that's not the only thing, but that's just one of the many, like, outstandingly dope things that she's doing. But anyway, the 13th, many people may not be familiar with why she named it the 13th. She did that because the 13th Amendment in the United States Constitution says that we can't have slaves, basically. And I'm going to read it from the Constitution. I'm going to paraphrase it. You can't be a slave in the United States unless due to punishment for a crime. And so when you look at history and you look at certain points in history from the abolishment of slavery in 1865 up to now, you look at how the United States government, who ratified this 13th Amendment, found some really slick ways to continue slavery, which is the reason why that poison pill was put into that amendment. You can go to the vagrancy laws. If you don't have some place to be right now, you go to jail. You know what I mean? You can fast forward, a bunch of years later, and you can look at how the crack and cocaine laws were written. You can have an itty bitty tiny little piece of crack, but you go to jail for 20 years versus a whole bunch of powder cocaine, and you might not. So this documentary talks about mass incarceration as an extension of slavery, which we've talked about in various incarnations here on this show. And so just real quick, want to go around the room and just, if anybody has any thoughts on mass incarceration, we'll share it. But the main thing, I just wanted to be able to say, y'all need to watch this documentary. If you haven't already watched the documentary, and I'm trying to look and see any comments there. Tavon says, beware of your support system if everyone doesn't have your best interest at heart. I agree with that 100%. Let's see. Dana is saying that is true, and she said that you're well stated. I'm not sure who she's commenting. I'm getting to that comment late, but one of y'all said something real dope that she agreed with. First Lady, what do you think about the 13th Amendment? Have you seen the documentary? Do you intend to see the documentary? What's your thoughts?
No and no. But I'm pretty sure, like you said, it was good. Maybe I will check it out just to, just to see, just to get a little bit more information. But again, I feel like that, of course, we're in the new day, new age slavery. Pretty much of what we're going through. I feel like that it's slavery. I think about Birth of a Nation that just was released this past weekend, and for as much, I guess, advertisement and things that they did for it, it only came in number 6 in the theaters. So, just hearing, just knowing that, and a lot of people saying, they don't want to see another slave movie or things like that. Again, I feel like if everything needs to be supported. Everybody needs to know the story. I, again, definitely will check out the 13th. And I just feel like that, I mean, what can you do? I mean, what else is there to be done? I mean, what other facts is out there to be known? I feel like that everybody knows what's going on, what they're doing. I mean, and like you said, it always could be done underhandedly. So if you're not, you're trying to get a loan for your business and you're getting denied every time, but knowing good and well that your credit is good enough for you to be able to get this loan. But if somebody doesn't want you to have your business, point blank, you won't have it. And that's just very unfortunate. So again, I still feel that we still live in a now today 2016 type of slavery times, and I don't feel, again, unless we all as a community put our heads and minds and bodies and souls together, then it's not going to change. So yeah, we're going to continue to make movies like the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th.
I can dig it. I asked Steppin with Marcus. Jay Shannon, what's your thoughts? You seen the documentary? You heard of it?
I haven't, but I can relate to this statement by saying that I know a lot of people who are incarcerated for almost nothing. Like, they are throwing the book at these young guys who made a mistake. Instead of trying to reform them, they just throw them away 18, 19 years, 24 years. I know some people that are in prison, and I know some people who are going before the judge and getting time like this that don't even really fit the crime, and it's all a money scheme, and they probably all back it up with the 13th Amendment saying you do a crime, you're going to be enslaved.
Right.
And that's what they do.
I have Steppin with Marcus. Jay, Tia?
That scares me. I've never heard of this documentary, but I'm definitely going to look into it. But that idea, it completely terrifies me in a way. To know that, yeah, slavery has been abolished, but if you do this, we technically can put you back in slavery. So it makes me believe, like, then are we actually even really free? Because what institutes a crime? It could be like those little laws that say you can't hold hands on this side of the street during this time of the day, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, that's a crime. That could technically put you in jail, and you could technically be a slave. And so, honestly, I'm terrified. It makes me want to go look at this documentary, because I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I never knew about this. And especially, I learned a couple years ago that one of the amendments actually, they can vote. They vote every year whether or not black people have the right to vote. I didn't know that either. They vote every year to vote in yes or no, black people have the right to vote. We're not free. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
It scares me.
Yeah, I'm not sure which amendment that is, but I have heard that the right for black people to vote was set to expire after like a certain amount of years,
Right.
And it needs to be. I'm not sure it's an amendment, but I think it was something
It was
something. You're onto
Right.
something. I'm pretty sure it wasn't an amendment, but you're definitely onto something, because initially there was an expiration date on the right to vote when it was finally given, and I'm not sure the specifics. That's something that we'll have to look up. Tony, take the final word before I close it out and go to break.
The prison system, as it is today, is, I would say, the cotton and tobacco crops of the 21st century.
Say it now.
According to an article on smartasset.com from March of this year, the prison system makes $74 billion. It's worth $74 billion. $39 billion of that is paid by us.
Taxes.
We pay that.
So we pay them to
39. Yes.
imprison children
Yeah.
going to prison for 24 years for riding in the car with somebody.
Ain't no,
And,
I'm just saying.
and 10% of that $74 billion, so $7.4 billion, is from private prisons.
yeah.
So if you want to be extremely wealthy,
Open your
Invest
build
prison.
a prison.
Me in general, I don't believe in prison. I don't agree with it because there's always a problem that can be solved, that this person may not have understood the laws, may not have maybe had a reason for not obeying the laws. You have to figure out what the core is and understand that this person is also a human being. They may have hurt people, they may have stolen from people, but they are still a human being with human rights. We need to treat those people as such. Don't just throw them in prison. It's just going to give them time to figure out, be mad at people, want to exact revenge on somebody. Figure out what's really going on with them on the inside. And then that's how we can start healing people and get rid of prison.
She's such a healer.
Right, and you know, I totally agree. And I forgot which rapper is in jail right now, but he's actually said, and you can see on any documentary about the prison system, you know, they tell you prison is meant to break you. It is meant to break you. So again, like she stated, as a human being, how do you feel saying that you're going to put this person in a cell for 23 hours out of the day and maybe 1 hour of daylight, you know, as a human being, to break them down? Yes, that will make anyone crazy. That's how you're finding these people in their cells the next morning dead, because again, you know, their mental, their mind, you know, again, you being confined in this one place alone by yourself with no one to talk to or no one to get to the solution of the problem. You know, that's what the continuation comes from. And a lot of people, you know, they do need help because a lot of them feel like, you know, prison is the only place for them to go when they can't function out in society, which is unfortunate.
And you know how Steppin with Marcus J. Live from the Dan Legacy and that radio. I'll take the final word on the segment. First of all, I'm going to respectfully disagree because some folks need that key thrown away.
Yes, they do.
And so, you know, your John Wayne Gacy's and your, you know, your Ted Bundy's and your Charles Manson's and your Christopher Goins. Mm-hmm. You know, there's some folks don't need to come back. But I understand what you're saying. I'm with you in the spirit of what you're saying. I got it. I get it. Especially when you say the things that you were saying under the backdrop of them testing 10-year-old boys so that they can figure out how many prisons they're going to need in 10 years. And you know that there's a tier system with regards to the testing. You know, if you score above this, then you will probably not go to prison. But if you score below that, then we need to make sure we got a bed for you in 10 years. They actually do that. They test for that. And the private prison system is one of the most morally bankrupt systems that you could possibly have because you're benefiting and you're profiting off of the scourge of your society. That's a problem. It's also a problem, and I'm going to kind of share a couple of the things that I got in this documentary, and I'm totally not giving it away. You guys watch it. And the listeners, you make sure you guys watch it. And Facebook Live, you make sure you guys watch it as well. But they talked about in the 70s, there was about 350,000 people in America that were incarcerated in prison, 350,000. And what they did was, in the documentary, you saw how those numbers began to go up, and you saw why those numbers began to go up. Now, I won't give away any of that stuff. You have to just watch it to get it. But today, or the last time these numbers were taken, somewhere in the last year or two, America, United States of America, is somewhere in the neighborhood of 5% of the world's population. But we incarcerate 25% of the world's incarcerated people. So think about that. Think about private prisons. Think about nonviolent felons. Think about drug laws and how they were written and why they were written and who they were written to target. Let's think about that. And I gave you a little bit of a backdrop on that when I talked to you about who smokes crack and who sniffs coke. Like, that's kind of real.
That's real.
That's kind of real. And the 1994 crime bill by everybody's favorite president, Bill Clinton, is what completely destroyed the black community with regards to people being incarcerated and seeing the numbers skyrocket, even more than the war on drugs that was perpetrated in the 80s. And I'll give you another hint. Ronald Reagan was the first one to talk about the war on drugs. That's an argument that's 10 years older than even him, but you learn about that when you watch the documentary. And so it's something that we need to be mindful of, because we play a role in this. Because, yeah, they locking us up, but a lot of us are making poor choices that are putting us in a position to be locked up. And so we cannot talk about this without talking about looking in the mirror and determining what our position is. Now, you can't do nothing when you Philando Castile and you riding around with your pistol on your side and you got your concealed weapon permit in your pocket and they ask you for it and they shoot you in the chest. You can't do nothing with that. You just can't do nothing with that. You can't do nothing with, being Eric Garner saying, why y'all messing with me, and they choke you out. You can't do nothing with being John Crawford and you looking at a unloaded gun in a damn gun store and they cap you out. You can't do nothing when you are 12 years old, Tamir Rice, in a park in an open carry state and you have a gun in your hand that's a toy and they cap you out. You can't do nothing with being Laquan McDonald walking down the street and the cops cap you out. You can't do nothing with that, because that's the police acting a damn fool. But when you on the corner and you got weed in your pocket and you out there acting erratically, yeah, you can do something with that. You know what I mean? If you selling crack, you can do something with that. You know what I mean? If you killing your homies in the hood, you can do something with that. So we need to be mindful, because this documentary was revealing. It was a lot of good information in it, private prisons, but we have to be mindful of our position and the role we play in this sad ass play. Marcus J. Ain't No How Steppin' with yours truly, taking our final break of the night. Facebook Live, that's the end. Tune in to us right now on TuneIn. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bring y'all back. I'm going to let y'all see our rants and our closings, because I want to make sure that y'all see us do a little bit of history. I know what today is on the calendar. Gives you a little bit of a hint as to what kind of history we're doing. Tavon, we see you under the 15th Amendment. That's the right to vote that was ratified in 1870, and it took us 95 years to actually get it when they wrote the Civil Rights Bill, or the Voting Rights Bill, I should say, 1965. You right on it, brother. Ain't No How Steppin' with Marcus J, live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio, with my cast of ladies and yours truly. Be back in a few. Y'all stay with us. This is Marcus J, founder and general manager of Legacy Internet Radio, where independence is key to building your legacy. You want to be part of the fastest growing internet radio station on the internet today? Join us and email us at legacyinternetradio.com, currently featuring sponsorship spots, internet radio show spots. Do you have a voice? Do you have something that you want to say? Do you have something special that you know needs to be heard? Well, you can join our fastest growing internet radio station on the internet, Legacy Internet Radio. Email us at legacyinternetradio@gmail.com for more information. That's legacyinternetradio@gmail.com. legacyinternetradio@gmail.com.
What's up, y'all? This is your man K-Dub, and when I'm down on 285 down in Atlanta, GA, maybe on I-64 in Newport News, Virginia, or maybe I'm in Jersey City catching that light rail headed downtown to go into NYC.